Have you ever wondered what happens when you finally succeed after failing 24 times? For King Vikramaditya, the 25th attempt was the charm, but it was just the beginning of the end of a long, treacherous journey. This is the grand finale of the legendary Vikram and Betal saga, one of India's most famous and beloved tales. For weeks, King Vikramaditya had been locked in a battle of wits and will with a mysterious spirit named Betal. The king had promised a reclusive yogi that he would retrieve a corpse hanging from a tree in a desolate cremation ground. But this was no ordinary corpse. It was inhabited by Betal, a spirit who would only allow the king to carry him if the king remained completely silent. And with every journey, Betal would tell the king a captivating story, ending with a riddle so profound that the king, bound by his duty as a just ruler, couldn't help but answer. Every time he spoke, Betal would magically fly back to his tree, forcing the king to start all over again. 24 times. This happened. 24 stories, 24 riddles, and 24 failures. But on the 25th attempt, something changed. As King Vikramaditya hoisted the corpse onto his shoulder one last time, Betal, instead of telling a story, revealed a shocking truth. The yogi, he explained, was no holy man. He was a sorcerer with a dark ambition. He planned to sacrifice the king to a powerful goddess to gain immense supernatural powers and rule over all celestial beings. Betal warned the king that the yogi would ask him to perform a specific prostration, a full-body bow, as an offering. At that moment, when the king was most vulnerable, the yogi would strike. Betal's final instruction was simple but crucial. When the yogi tells you to bow, tell him you are a king and do not know the proper way to perform such a ritual. Ask him to demonstrate it for you first. Armed with this critical piece of information, King Vikramaditya, his heart heavy, but his resolve firm, continued his journey. This time, he knew he was walking into a trap, but he also held the key to turning the tables. As the king approached the yogi's secluded clearing, the sorcerer's eyes lit up with triumphant glee. He saw the king, weary but successful, with the corpse slung over his shoulder. The yogi rushed forward, his voice dripping with false praise. "O great King Vikramaditya," he exclaimed, "you have performed a task that no other could. Your courage and determination prove you are the greatest of all kings." The yogi carefully took the body from Vikramaditya's shoulders and laid it within a circle of mystical markings he had drawn on the ground. He began chanting ancient, powerful incantations, lighting incense, and making offerings of flowers and strange herbs. The air grew thick with a palpable energy, a mixture of magic and malevolence. The fire in the center of the circle danced wildly, casting long, menacing shadows. After completing his preparations, the yogi turned to the king with a sinister smile. "The ritual is almost complete, O king," he said smoothly. "Now, all that is left is for you to offer your respects. Lie down on the ground, face down, and perform the 8-limbed prostration before the deity." This was it, the exact moment Betal had warned him about. King Vikramaditya, recalling Betal's advice, put on an expression of humble confusion. He bowed his head slightly and replied, "O wise and powerful yogi, you honor me. However, I am a king, accustomed to receiving bows, not performing them. I do not know the correct posture for this sacred ritual. I fear I might perform it incorrectly and disrespect the deity, ruining your powerful ceremony. Would you be so kind as to demonstrate the proper form for me, so that I may learn from you and do it perfectly?" The yogi, blinded by his arrogance and the proximity of his goal, saw no deception in the king's request. It seemed reasonable that a mighty king wouldn't be familiar with such specific rituals of submission. "Of course, your majesty," the sorcerer said, puffing up his chest. "It is a simple matter. Observe carefully." Without a second thought, the yogi laid himself flat on the ground, face down, stretching his arms forward in the exact position of vulnerability he had intended for the king. In that split second, King Vikramaditya acted. He drew his royal sword, its blade gleaming in the firelight, and with one swift, decisive motion, he severed the sorcerer's head from his body. The moment the evil yogi was defeated, a joyful laugh echoed through the clearing. Betal emerged from the corpse, his spectral form shimmering. He was immensely pleased. "Well done, O king." Declared, "This sorcerer sought to become the master of all mystical powers by sacrificing you. Instead, you have ended his reign of terror. Now, those very powers he craved will be yours. You shall become the undisputed sovereign of all scholars and adepts." Betal continued, his tone softening. "I have given you much trouble on this long night, testing your patience and wisdom, but it was all to lead to this moment. You have proven yourself worthy. Now, go and claim your destiny." King Vikram, overwhelmed with relief and gratitude, looked at the spirit who had been his adversary and, ultimately, his savior. "Betal," the king said, "if you are truly pleased with me, then grant me one wish. Let these 24 tales you have told me, along with this, our final adventure, be known throughout the world. Let them be read and remembered with respect for generations to come." Betal smiled, his ghostly form glowing brightly. "Your wish is granted, King Vikramaditya. These 25 stories shall forever be known as the Betal, and whoever reads or listens to them with a devoted heart and an open mind shall find their sins washed away and their wisdom increased." With those final words, Betal vanished, his purpose fulfilled. Just as Betal departed, a divine light filled the clearing. The great Lord Shiva himself appeared before the king, his presence serene and all-powerful. "Vikramaditya," Shiva said, his voice resonating like 1,000 deep bells. "You have done well to vanquish this wicked sorcerer. Your courage, intellect, and righteousness are commendable. As a reward for your deeds, you shall soon gain dominion over the underworld, the entire earth, and its 7 islands. Rule with justice and wisdom. When you have experienced all that life has to offer and your heart is content, you will find your way to me." And with that divine blessing, Lord Shiva disappeared. King Vikramoditya returned to his capital city, Ujjain, not just as a king, but as a legend. The news of his bravery, his clever defeat of the sorcerer, and the divine boon he received spread like wildfire. The entire kingdom celebrated with grand festivals, praising their wise and valiant ruler. For many years, King Vikramaditya ruled over both the earthly and celestial realms, just as Shiva had promised. He became a symbol of justice, wisdom, and unwavering perseverance. And when he had fulfilled his duties and his heart was at peace, he relinquished his throne and ascended to the heavens, achieving ultimate liberation. The story of Vikram Betal teaches us a timeless lesson. Evil, no matter how clever or powerful, will ultimately be defeated by good. It shows us that with a clear mind, unwavering patience, and a courageous heart, one can overcome any obstacle and earn the respect of all. Thank you so much for joining us on this incredible journey through one of India's most cherished legends. If you enjoyed this story and want to explore more tales of wisdom and adventure, please hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss our next video. We'll see you next time.